Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Blackburn, and personally, thank you all for still being here for what is the last session of the day. I want you all to put a quick round of applause for my four panelists. We have Izzy and Philip, Asaf and Jekaterina, if you will come and join me on stage. Thank you. There are some stairs over there if you want. No, okay. The end of that panel resonated with the end of every other panel that I've watched today, which is absolutely no one's had a question when it's come to the end of a panel. So, quick raise of hands. Who here has done any form of SEO in the past? One, two, other than the four of us, other than the 4 or 5 of us on stage, 2 in the crowd. So, to flip things on their heads, one of you, please, ask a question before we get started. Before I go through the notes that I have, one of you put your hand up and ask a question. Thank you, John.
How is AI changing SEO?
That's 3 questions off my list. Thanks very much. As someone who was involved in SEO around 2005, 2006, AI wasn't what we called it. We called it machine learning. I didn't get into it. I went a lot further down the route of user-generated content and then trying to train my content writers, actual human beings, to write content that was performing as good as that content. So taking his question, which obviously you all have an opinion on, I'll go straight away from right to left, go down the channel, down the chain.
So in terms of SEO, I'm not an SEO expert, which is great, because I do everything else apart from SEO, and I can see how it impacts SEO overall. So I do paid and I do social and stuff like that. And you can see that AI, pretty much in every single channel, including SEO, is going to play a part. So AI is a tool that we can use. Some people use it well, some people don't use it very well. If you create spammy content, it's going to be crap. If you use it as a tool for research, if you use it well and you train it well, it can write really good content. But you still need a human to check it. But for social, it's really great for your posting. So if you need more posts, if you need AI-generated videos, AI-generated graphics for your content, that also can be used really well. But you still need a human to check it. You need your brands to check it and make sure that it actually makes any sense. If it doesn't, don't post it up because you're going to lose your traffic. You're going to lose interest from your audience.
Yeah, that human touch at the end of the process is always really important.
Exactly.
I mean, we work at the same company, so I kind of agree with him. But in general, I think we picked on AI so much. Like, in general, not only marketing, but like, in general, like, everyone is talking AI now, and AI is changing everything. But in terms of SEO, SEO is an ever-changing industry. It kept changing before AI. It will be changing probably way after AI as well. Because humans are changing, and kind of our behavior and our expectations from Google and other search engines as well are changing. So yes, I think it made a lot of our job easier and quicker. It created many additional, not very new mistakes, but like we kind of went back to the mistakes of the past. Because if you remember, you will probably remember, Andy, like when we, because you said you've been with SEO
is that an age joke early on?
But when, back in the day, scrapping content, using duplicated content, stealing content from other websites, and then we started using AI, and I remember having conversations with clients or potential clients like, oh, we don't need SEO anymore. We've got AI now. We've got ChatGPT. So we can just put anything in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to magically SEO our way through Google. So we're kind of like going back to repeating old times mistakes. But honestly, as Philip said, it's a tool. It's a very good tool. And if we can just learn to use it well, and if we've got a person at the other end of the computer who knows their stuff, I think it can be very useful. And it can make our lives a lot easier.
I totally agree that SEO and AI is something complementary. It's a tool, exactly as you said, but it's also changing the behavior of users in terms of search. They are starting more to direct search engines in prompts, questions regarding, unlike whether you are going to visit Prague, for example, you used to write Prague weather. Nowadays, you will ask, what is the weather in Prague, maybe in April or in the 15th of April. So there is a behavioral change in the way that users interact with search engines. Also, considering it's a tool, we are talking mainly, I think, about technical SEO. Things that were used to do by people that were tech savvy or knew something about tech, like correcting links and checking, researching, etc. Now you can do it with AI, with easier use. So it's a great tool that needs to be in the right hands to know how to deal with it. Otherwise, you will ruin it all, but by generating just AI stuff that any search engine will find in a month or two and delist you totally from the search engine.
Now I feel a pressure that I need to sum up all of you guys.
We'll do the next one from that end this way.
Oh, amazing. So I will tell my side as marketing. Younger generation don't not know how to Google, and Google search do not how to respond to our questions, and this how AI changing SEO in general. So basically, as a younger generation representative, I'm just 24, I'm Gen Z counting myself as, we don't know how to Google, for example, Prague weather. We don't feel value in that, I would say, and we need something more, we need a contact. Because sometimes we need to search, for example, for song lyrics, or we remember video clips that we've seen like in 2005, and we remember like there's like Jane Baldoni or something like else, and we are typing description on the video and we can't find. But AI can do it, and he know where to search, how to search, and how to use these exact keywords that we gave to him that basically has no meaning. So basically, younger generation changing SEO as AI steps in. I would say this is pretty amazing and complicated at the same time.
So just a little follow-on from me. So I think a lot of people have spoken a lot about the way AI is changing content and the delivery of content for a site. Asaf, your background you just mentioned there from a more technical perspective. How do I saw somebody earlier today, and it's been something that was at another conference I was at 2 weeks ago. There's a conversation there that's being had around using AI to improve your development skills. Using AI, say, hey, look, here's some JavaScript that I've written to, say, deliver sprite versions of images to reduce my overall page load. Where else are people going to get those big advantages by using AI on a technical aspect?
On a technical aspect, I'm a software engineer by degree, so I'm coming from a very technical area. And AI changed a lot of things, not just about SEO. We are focusing here on SEO. So SEO-wise, it's about doing the technical stuff and getting also content ideas, changing the tone of something you do, etc. But our company also provides widget solutions which are SEO friendly to other companies and other websites. And we really use ChatGPT for developing these widgets in order them to be more friendly for search engines and look something inherited as part of the website.
I mean, go ahead. I mean, when you spoke to me about it, I found it really interesting. So maybe let the room know what your widgets do and how you're using AI to assist people.
Okay. So we have an odds comparison platform which shows odds from different sports books about a different game or a different league or different market, etc. And we wanted, back in the days, people used iframes. They took a piece of data from one website and embedded it into another website, which look unnatural to Google and also for the users. Currently, what we are doing and what our company is doing is generating widgets which inject content, mainly data-wise, but also textual-wise, into a website to make it look, and it looks natural, because for fact, one of our biggest clients is number one on the SERPs, on the snippet part, with data from our widget. So it's not even belongs to the website beforehand, but it looks so natural, and it works for the long term because it's really natural.
I like the fact you mentioned the snippets there, because the one thing I think a lot of people have seen, and if you were here listening to Philly Weiss earlier today, he had everyone to say a show of hands. I'll do the same question as he did. Who thinks the quality of their search results has actually gone down when they search at the moment? Couple, most of us up here. Anybody think they've gone up, or they've just stayed the same? So the thing that we're noticing now, and I'm going to go to Philip in a second, is Google is embedding, and we're going to stick with Google for a minute, Google is embedding its own AI version of a result. When you ask for something using a Gen Z form of search query, so tell me what the weather is going to be like in Prague in March versus weather Prague March, it is pulling in an AI response, which is then pushing your paid results further down, and then pushing your organic results further down. So you've got to, if you have an old school search mentality like me and you want to see the top organic result, it's 2 scrolls away now, or 2 finger pushes, however you navigate the SERPs. So Philip, to you, with your background in all forms of media and paid media, etc., how do you see that element changing what you do day to day, and how do you combat it?
So the first thing is the content itself. So it has to be more based on the conversation. It has to be based more on the phrases rather than just keywords. It's no more just hardcore keywords and that's it. You have to adapt. Plus, you have different generations using Google search at the moment. So you have younger generations, you have middle age, and then you have older generations. And then every generation will use different part of that search. So as long as you kind of acquiring the strategy for all those generations, you should be fine, but you have to adjust your content. If you use the same type of content across the board and you don't adapt it to your audiences, you're going to lose your results and you're going to be appearing less in search, and that's just the way it is. Google wants to show only the results that are expected for customers to be seen. So if it's not what they're looking for, you're not going to appear. If they're not clicking on you, you're going to just go down. It's as simple as that. And it applies not only to Google, but it applies to other channels as well. So if your content is not interesting enough and you don't grab attention within the first 3 seconds, that's it, you're gone. Someone else will be taking your spot, and they'll get all the clicks and all the traffic. So yeah, you just have to reapply different logic. It has to be more on the conversation basis, not on the keyword basis.
It's much more contextual than just matching keywords into terms.
Yeah, I think that, as someone else earlier today said, I think the reliance on search engine traffic to be your sole source of traffic, especially as someone like an affiliate nowadays, is probably going to be really, really dangerous moving forward. I mean, I've got a note here saying that there's an average of 14 updates from Google are rolled out every day. So we only see the core updates when they're announced to the industry, but keeping on top of all those updates, what's now, what's next, what's coming up is really important. And I think you, Izzy, sorry, you mentioned just before about remembering certain updates that came along. I was deep in the SEO space when Penguin and Panda first came out, and there was the 2 terms that came out of that were bamboo content, as in content that was really lightweight, so it didn't hold any authority, and fishy links, which was your food for Penguin. So if you had bamboo content or fishy links, your site wasn't going to rank. So what is going to rank? I know that's a really hard question. And I know I'm picking on you because you picked on me and you made the age joke earlier on. But what's the people that are left here on the last session of the day? What's a big tip that you've got at the moment? What are you really focusing on when you're dealing with clients or your own sites to help them rank better?
Yeah, see, Andy, I think they all really want to go home because it's really late. Shall
I
we
want
just
to go
let them
downstairs to the
go?
pub. There's a bar right underneath us right now.
I mean, before I answer your question, just wanted to pick on something else that it's coming out on quite a few panels that I did at the end of last year. And now, like, for example, what you said about the more question-like searches, which is true and is great. And that was kind of circling around earlier on as well. But this is not new. Like, Google did that before, right? With questions like searches. That happened when voice search came along. And that really this was when we actually started thinking along those ways. So it's not really AI that did this. Voice search did this.
Yeah, and it's not Gen Z either. People using Alexa or Google Home to say, hey, what's the weather going to be like, is what's driven that change in search.
Exactly.
It's not Gen Z, it's like older generation, like boomers.
Yeah, as well.
And also the generative AI results that we were talking, this is, well, I mean, generative AI results are new, but zero clicks are not new. We did this. That happened before, right? With the zero clicks and feature snippets, where everyone's been kind of panicking, like, oh, now people are not going to get to my website, and they're just going to rely on the zero clicks results. And yes, for some searches, definitely yes. Or like for quite simple, like I don't know, how to get to somewhere, and you would just get the maps, and then that one you would have to click on. I don't know, what time is somewhere, yeah? What time is somewhere? That's when Google shows you the time, and you don't actually go and convert, let's say,
Or my one
hours.
this week, how many pounds or how many Czech
or
kronas to
this
the
one.
pound.
Yeah. So yes, for simple questions like where Google can just throw the answer in your face, yes. But guess what? SEO didn't die. And we still kept doing SEO, and it's just the content that we were doing evolved. And I've heard something super interesting on the State of Search last year, where someone said that because of the generative AI overviews, we just have to adapt the way that we do content. So it's not the simple questions anymore that we do. Even if people are searching this way, it's not just the simple questions that we do. We have to go deeper, and we have to answer a bit more complex. So we have to basically get people to click. So it's not enough to just say how to, okay, these are your simple steps, because that's what you will get with the AI overview. But just get deeper, give them the examples, give them the experience, to be basically a bit more than the AI overview. That's the one thing. And then the other thing is, obviously, I was just reading on LinkedIn today. I've got no idea if this is true, but that was super interesting about someone that asked someone asked Google, do I need visa to go somewhere? And the AI said no, and they decided to rely on it. And then, yes, you're guessing right. It turned out they actually do. So
yeah, but AI can't tell the difference. Do you need a visa to go to the States? No, you don't, but you do need an ESTA.
Yeah, for example. And I did a search with ChatGPT for some laws around schools in UK, and I was asking the questions, and the ChatGPT kept saying, oh, yes, this is here. And then I went through the link. I was like, no, this is not here. Oh, yeah, actually, I'm sorry, you're right, this is not here. So there will be some searches, I really hope there will be some, that people will actually need the source, and they will need to get deeper. We'll just need to adapt the way that we serve them the content, and the content itself to be a bit more than just the AI overview. And then obviously we get to the fun part of ranking in the AI overviews, right? And ranking as the source.
I was going to ask that question.
And ranking in the GPTs, right? That's I knew we were going to get to this. But can I?
Yeah, carry on. No,
do
this
you
is
want
great.
to ask a question? I'll let you.
No, you keep
No?
going.
No.
Katerina looks like she's going to add something to what you're saying as well.
I was going to say that, you know what's happening with ChatGPT, and then you ask something and he's like, no, yes, simple answers, simple questions. Because ChatGPT is a little kid who don't know nothing about you. It's like, if he don't know where I am based, do I need it actually? So basically when we are still doing searches in ChatGPT or Gemini, we need to be super clear. Again, nobody can Google, nobody knows how to put correctly data in to get correct answer. Because if I right now will answer, can I donate some my biomaterial? She said like, yes, there's like a clinic who like can accept that. Like, yeah, but I don't have such a material to donate, for example. But if I will put that I'm a woman, like that, he will of course give me the correct answer because he's a child. He open book. You ask him correct information, he will give you a correct answer. It's a main point. ChatGPT still is a kid who don't know nothing about the world and apparently doesn't read in your mind.
I must say that you are completely right, because right now we have to direct ChatGPT and others AI tools towards specifically what we are looking for. But the new reasoning capabilities of AI will lead to a way that you will need to teach him a bit less, to direct him a bit less, and he will know what you are up to. Of course, there must be a fact-checking and not go to a visa if they say no and you need something else.
I'll play devil's advocate for a second. I mean, I totally agree. You have to ask the right question. Yes, this is very true. And then it's the same with Google, right? You have to Google right keywords and you have to ask the right question. And I totally get that AI is here to stay, and we will keep using it. But the one thing is, we live in a very fast-paced world, and people want answers now. So until ChatGPT or whatever else is gonna get good enough to answer the questions that people are actually asking, because I promise you, no one is gonna sit there and be like, oh, yes, ChatGPT, you're just not very good in it, are you? I'm just gonna rephrase my question. No, they're gonna go somewhere else.
I was screaming at ChatGPT like once a day. Like, we have such a blast arguing with each other. I think he will afraid of me building like 1 month.
What I mean is that until we get this, before we get this, people will still be using the search engines, the platforms, or the places where they're actually getting the best answers. So yes, we're gonna get to the, I'm just keep going to say ChatGPT, the AI ranking and stuff at some point, but what I'm trying to say, it's not gonna be tomorrow, because it needs to get to the point where it's actually gonna give people the right answers.
The issue is when you're using SERPs, search engines, then it directs you to a page that gives you an answer. And you need to click, go to the page, and see if you got the answer for your question in this page or that page. And ChatGPT, if you direct him right, you will get instantly the answer to your question. So I'm looking at myself, I don't know, but around 50% of my searches that I used to do on Google, or Bing, etc., SERPs, yeah, Google, are done now with ChatGPT, especially when talking about the technical that you mentioned about development and software development. I think it's one of the most professionals that will be hurt the most by AI, because AI knows to, if you direct him right, of course, to develop things amazingly fast. Of course, it needs a touch and everything, but it will replace juniors and it will change the software industry totally.
I think now we're getting into the industries a little bit, and that's totally true, because the tech people are probably the first ones that got introduced, let's say, to AI tools, not ChatGPT only, and they probably know better how to ask the correct questions. What we have to remember is, it's not only us using it, it's not only us who knows the tech. There's not only gaming as well. There are tons of other industries, and there will be tons of other audiences that will be using it. And as I said, I don't think honestly that they're going to sit there and just thinking, oh, what kind of question should I use to get the right answers? So they're not going to move away from the traditional search that fast before the AI gets to where it should be.
Yeah, I think early adopters will always be the ones that try it out and actually learn how to use a tool more efficiently, and that doesn't just cover AI or ChatGPT or any of the other available apps that are out there. We got a question, yes. I love this because it's another question further down on my list, which says there's been massive changes in searcher behavior, and there's longer phrases being used now. So I totally agree with your question. So put it to the whole panel. We'll start from left to right this time.
So that's why you need a marketing manager on your team, because a marketing manager will predict what user will search, why he will search that, and he predicts, like a QA engineer, how he will ask a question and will break your system. So basically, he will predict every scenario, and then marketing manager gives everything to SEO manager, who will create beautifully and nicely we'll put all together, we'll code everything, but like it's a teamwork, and market manager will be crucial in that, because not only search, voice search is more popular currently, as ChatGPT again invaded, I would say invaded that, search, voice search, everyone is invading their websites with voice chats, AI chats, like everything. So it's very crucial, and I believe everyone, especially in affiliates, will have it like in a couple, 5 years.
To be honest, a few years ago, I bought a big bunch of how-to domains, how to bet, how to gamble, and so it's not a new idea about asking questions and getting answers. It was an investment. I don't know if you want to buy the domain, so I'm free to sell. But the search engines are really going this way. Yes, you will have to more optimize conversational questions. I don't know exactly. I'm not. I know about SEO, but about conversational SEO. It's things that's going to Siri, etc. They know how to do it. They know how to deal with it. But this is how it's going to be. And the main thing that is changing is the amount of users that are using the conversational questions instead of the keywords searches.
I think there are a few things that's going to lead the way for at least the next couple of years. I think maybe we're saying it a bit not the way that we should. So it's maybe not answer their questions, but solve their problems with the content. Because AI can answer their questions, but what we should be doing is solving their problems. I remember an excellent example, not gaming example, but it really spoke to me. There was a company that I can't remember the name of, but they found out that they were selling TVs. And they found out that before you go and buy a new TV, the biggest keyword that people are searching for is, why is my TV making this funny buzzing noise? So they created the content around it, around the buzzing noise made by the TVs. And they apparently made quite a lot of sales kind of like out of it, on top of it. So like solve people problems. Basically, if you go back to like an old marketing buying cycle, and this is one of the not many times that my marketing degree comes to use in this industry, so I'm going to brag about it, and basically solve their problem before they know they've got a problem. Like when they research, before they know that they want to buy, let's say, or they want to play, that's when you want to grab them. That's the one thing, solve their problems. Get into our kind of the next part of our discussion, multi-channel. Definitely, because SEO is not only SEO anymore, if you know what I mean. It's not just keywords. It's not just making sure that your website works technically, that Google is able to crawl it. Obviously, make sure that it is, because if it's not, then everything else that I say, it's not going to work. But making sure that it's in sync with other marketing channels, making sure that we're actually building a brand, that we get in trust of the customers, and by doing just pure only SEO as we understood it back in the day, it's not going to cut it anymore. We have to make sure that it's a part of a bigger marketing strategy, and that we work not in silos like PPC there and SEO there and maybe, I don't know, affiliates somewhere there, and we're not speaking to each other. That doesn't work anymore. The best strategies that I've seen and the best strategies that we developed were making sure that we actually work in sync with each other and with the other channels. And then we hear quite a lot about entities SEO now, and I think that's gonna stick to
About
create
what SEO? Sorry, I missed the word.
entity. Not focus on the keywords, which we kind of like touched on before, right? But focus on the subject matter, on the topic that you position yourself as an expert, and then we're touching the EEAT a little bit. Yeah, show your experience, or show your expertise, show that people can trust you, that your users can trust you. So again, it touches on this multi-channel.
I think that the multi-channel effect also works in terms of, if you anybody from an operator standpoint here, not just from affiliates, is on the retention aspect, how many people here, when you've had a problem and you can't get an answer over a web form on a site, your next stop is to go to previously X and probably now Blue Sky and just go, hey, British Airways, why haven't you replied to my email? That retention side is massive as well, and that all forms part of an overall CRM stroke marketing mix that covers all the multiple channels.
Yes, definitely. And also, again, going a bit outside of gaming, but you will search in different places depending on what you search for. So my age is going to show now, but like I turn to Facebook when I look for something locally, for example. If I look for, I don't know, someone to bake a cake for a birthday party, I don't really go to Google. I'll go to Facebook, or like I'll go to groups and go, hey, who around me is baking the best cakes? Can someone recommend someone? I'll check their Facebook reviews, right? So it all kind of plays together. If you want to win on kind of like a multi-channel, multi-sector approach, then that's the way to go, not just to stick to one. And I think we've mentioned that before as well, to not only rely on the SEO. Only relying on anything that is just one is a danger approach, because if you can cut out, SEO, you can get a penalty, yes. With like other paid channels, PPC, very easy to appear, but very easy to disappear as well. So you can't really, and if you rely only on one, if something happens, then you're screwed, basically.
There's the old adage, not all your eggs in one basket.
Thank you for taking all the points.
I was going to say, Philip, have you got anything else to add?
Like she mentioned all the points about multi-channel approach. But if we go back to the conversation with Google, Google will pick up the best content. So it won't pick up, sorry to say, but random pages that has thin content. If content looks AI generated and there's no proof checking, there's no authors, there's no quality links going back to that website, Google won't use that for AI generated content. It will use only the pages and content that makes sense for Google to use. So it will always go for the richer content and well-structured content as well. So if your site is messy, it has 2,000 words, and for AI, it's hard to scroll through that content and find the answers, it won't use it. So you have to kind of structure it to show bullet points. Make sure that you answer the questions that the customer might be looking for. So it's all about the quality, the authors, who's linking to that website. Should I use that website, or should we just ignore that website? So everything's going to be about content and how good the content is. If your whole website is AI generated, possibly you're not going to rank for anything, or you won't rank a lot. And you might get penalized by Google for that. But you get some lucky guys who actually get a lot of AI-generated content, and they'll start ranking.
Yeah, but this goes like the old school SEO mantra of pump and dump, right?
Yeah,
Rinse and repeat. I've got 800 domains that I'm happy to burn through. I'll do it on one, I'll get a load of FTDs, I'm on RevShare, they all die. I'll do it on the next one, I'll get a load of FTDs, it will die, doesn't matter.
Same thing with the link. People are still buying links, yes, they're still buying.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. I heard a rumor that they are still buying links, and they are buying tons of links. They are ranking well for 2 months, let's say. They are making tons of money and then moving to the other website. Same goes with the generated AI content. It will always be there, but I see a website built on white hat SEO as an asset, because it not just generate money. Yes, it's a tedious work, it's a hard work, it takes time, but at the end of the day, it's also an asset that if you decide to do an exit, you can sell.
Yep.
Link farms or a site full of shitty links, you won't be able to sell. So if you want also an asset, so it's a white hat SEO.
I do have a follow-up on that, but just to go back to your question, the secondary question you asked, ChatGPT, any AI can split out all those words in one long word in a domain name, just the same as Google or Yahoo or Bing can. They'll just, same as you can as a human being, if someone's written a whole load of things and left out all the spaces, your eyes are trained very much to go, that's a word, that's a word, that's a word. So it can pick those up. Following on from what you were just saying, though, of almost like a black hat, rinse and repeat, pump and dump SEO approach, something that came up on my LinkedIn last week, and it's the conversations continuing now off of LinkedIn and on multiple chat groups that I'm in. Some tucking into like black hat SEO at the moment and talking about people who are drop catching domains and pumping them full of really shitty affiliate content, but they're ranking because the domains have historical link authority, they've got historical ranking authority, and there's one at the moment ranking for UK-based casino terms. It's full of non-GamStop content, so people who are, from an RG perspective, trying to get around GamStop. So, and it's running, by the way, on an old school, secondary school's domain. You've seen this one?
I've seen this, yes.
Have you seen what they did yesterday? The
I
people who run
haven't,
it,
no.
the SEO guy on LinkedIn that brought it up,
Yeah.
they've made him, with a stupid photo of him, the author on all their content on that domain, just to take the piss. We know which affiliate group it is as well within the industry, so it'll be interesting to see. But my follow-on question for that is, how do you get an advantage in an industry that is so full of people bending, not even bending, breaking the rules and doing stuff that is totally black in the way they do it? We can't report it to Google. It will go to the back of the queue before it gets assessed. So what are some white hat approaches to combat those black hat attempts?
I've got a good story on that. So last year, around PubCon in Vegas, there was the Google update, and I can't remember how was it called exactly, which one was it, but it was targeting the fin content.
Core update 75 of the year.
That's the one, exactly. Yes, thank you, Andy. But obviously, AI has been a hot topic in all of the industries now. And surprise, surprise, on the SEO conferences, yes, we do talk AI as well. So there have been these speakers prepared amazing presentations, and I think a day before PubCon or 2 days, bang, Google hit with probably a core update 75, and one of the speakers had a really good examples, because she had a lot about the AI generated content on the websites, and pretty much in a day, all of her examples disappeared from search after the Google update. So my point from it is, yes, you can do it black hat, definitely. There were industries doing it black hat way before AI. I remember payday loans, for example. That was, in the UK at least, that was their approach. They had dozens of domains. They would get to the top, get the clients, get their money, and then lend the money, and then get their money, and then disappear, and then next domain, and then next domain. So it's not new. And my point is, by doing like the work as you described it, hard work, long work, you can stay on top, where at some point Google will come up with a new update, and everything for those people who are doing just a black hat will go away, to say nicely. So I'd say just keep on with because it's not like, it doesn't work in a way that you're not gonna outrank the black hat stuff. You will, it's just, it will take you more time.
Just you, hopefully you'll be there at the top once they get
Once
penalized into oblivion.
Exactly. And yes, they might, let's call it, steal your spotlight for a moment, but it's not gonna be, it's gonna be like I said, for 2 months, right? And then Google, remember when the ChatGPT became super popular and the AI generated content became super popular, and then everyone kept saying, oh yes, we don't need SEO, we're just gonna generate the content. And all of these websites appeared with purely AI generated content. What Google did, Google changed the EAT guidelines, right? They brought in experience, because that's what AI couldn't do. AI couldn't show you the experience with the product. Yeah, so they will, it's like, he's not gonna be happy with me. And do you remember infographics, right? People, everything was about infographics. Yeah, links from infographics. It was great. And then Google said, no. You're overdoing it. We don't like it anymore. And that's how they're gonna keep playing, probably. Unless they're gonna keep bringing such a bad search results that someone is gonna actually take them over at some point. But hopefully not. Maybe they're gonna come to their senses at some point. But what I mean is, if you just keep doing what you should be doing, you're gonna win eventually.
I would say pretty crazy stuff right now, but spam the world with your streamers and UGC creations. Because right now, everyone, as you mentioned earlier, if you're looking something, you don't go to the Google looking for a recipe. You will go online, you will go to Instagram, you will go to Facebook. Younger generation go to TikTok. For example, I've seen many times when exactly people buying videos from UGC creator that no one knows, but they put in TikTok or Instagram over the video titles, for example, how I spend my weekend, rock, for example, and CEO of Instagram, of Meta, sees this and put it on the top. What we do at our company, we use a lot of SEO in social media. We put as alternative text, we put a lot of keywords, and that's why when you Google, for example, something, and you slot that we just reviewed, you can see us on the top. Not on our website, but on social media. So basically, if we cannot rank from the beginning our page with that, we are ranking with the social media, because social media leads to you, it creates image for you, and especially with streamers, everyone like, they will say like, oh my God, I'm so fan of you, I want to do the same one. That's why companies like Bet with Streamers appear, when you can place the same bet as your streamer do on your casino. You can go and play the same casino that your favorite streamer offering you, and this is something more than SEO, and it's working currently a little bit better and a little bit faster than traditional SEO. So I would put my all money, like all in, on social media, especially on Instagram and Reddit, I would say, because this one who search pretty easy and pretty fast. And if you're going back to AI, for example, as ChatGPT and Gemini and all those things like they're learning out of the Reddit. So basically, again, all your answers in ChatGPT will be in Reddit. So how to and other things is better right now to post from yourself even into the Reddit, and your search will be higher.
But that brings us to the multi-channel approach, right? Social media, forums, Reddit, not only your website, right? Not only stuffing stuff with keywords.
I think on that point as well, there's a very well-known brand. I won't drop their name in this, but they have done a humongous media buy in the last, I'm going to say, 4 to 6 months, where they are approaching influencers, especially on TikTok, because their target demographic is at 18 to 25, and we could honestly say with our hands up, probably targeting 16 to 18-year-olds to have them in mind for when they turn 18. And they've done a huge media buy across humongous numbers of influencers on TikTok, and all they've done is they're giving them money, or merch is probably money, and they're putting their brand across all of their videos. So you've had a viral video go viral in the last 6 months. They will approach you and go, on every video for the next 6 months, we want you to put our brand across it, just as a banner at the bottom. It's not clickable, it's not linkable, don't put it in the text.
It's a betting
just
brand?
put the banner. It's a gambling brand, because they're betting on, if they create another viral video that goes and gets reshared and retalked and then put onto Instagram, etc., their brand's going to be everywhere.
You know, I seen it's the same one
brand. The one on the black banner, right?
Yeah. You know, the same brand that did this year what they done. So basically, they paid a couple of the girls to be on Tinder, on Badoo, and other dating sites in a T-shirt branded. No. Yes. So basically, now you can see
now we're talking multi-channel, right? Who had Tinder and Bumble in their multi-channel approach for gaming 2025?
The same brand.
We have a question.
It's hard to tell, because when you start working as a streamers, your work starts way before they online, way before you put them in front of the camera, in front of the casino. Firstly, you need to educate streamers. They still need to understand basics of responsible gaming and understand community. They need to be not good, but like basic psychologists, because everyone is messaging to them. They have their own community. They're chatting. They share their screens, their winnings. And I'm not saying it's obligatory streamers or micro-influencers' work to control them. Maybe your moderators when you become bigger, you will have moderators. You will have someone who controls this community, and this moment then they step in. For example, hey, dude, maybe you should stop for that. Maybe you can like see and don't gamble for that. For example, when we were working with the streamers, we had such a case. When like guys messaging like, oh, I have like my last 200 euro, I want to bet there. Where are you suggesting me to bet? Like to the shop or like go to the LinkedIn, I don't know, bet there. Because in this case, if you don't educate your streamers and they don't educate your viewers about responsible gaming, about how to bet responsible, how to choose casino responsible, because we were like a couple of the panels ago discussing that that unregulated casinos is not the best choice. Maybe they have a lot of good marketing, but streamers should say like, no, this one is regulated. We are working with them because we know they're 100% legit. Because nowadays, practically no one works with a casinos or a brand that's not regulated or not checked, because their reputation for them is also important, I would say that.
From knowing the regulatory angle, especially in the UK, it's hard for me to believe that a brand like, let's say, Bet365, William Hill, etc., will allow a streamer to promote them, because they can't control what he's going to say. And because affiliates are influencing the audience, and the operators are liable for what the affiliates are doing, this is the issue. So I guess it won't work in the UK. I don't know in other places, and I don't know with the gray market, of course, everything goes. But in the UK, it's very problematic, also in the US, I guess, and other more matured markets, but it can still work, yes.
That was the point I was going to make. I think it's also very dependent on the market in which you're going after. I was going to make the exact same point, that in the UK, the operator is liable for what its advertisers do on its behalf, and that includes affiliates, streamers, social media influencers, etc. Unfortunately, we are out of time, especially after the last panel ran over. I'd like to give my thanks to Izzy and Philip from Creators Media, to Asaf on Odds 1x2, and from Jekaterina from Slots Judge. This has been the last panel of the day. Thank you to Zoltan for having us today, and we'll see you all tomorrow. We'll be talking even more.